Okay, let's talk about light and dark, good and bad, evil, bad energy, good energy. Let's go into detail about right and wrong. Let's talk about why some people are the way they are and others are the way they are, and they're like chalk and cheese, different. We're all different, right? I think the first thing we have to understand is that there's nothing really black and white, and nothing really is as we think it is, in the sense of this is how it is. You know, there's various people who have talked about spirituality as if they know all spirituality. But if you were to really truly understand the vastness of everything, then you'd realize that they're only sharing one grain of sand of a whole beach when they speak of a subject. So take, for instance, many a sage, many a spiritual leader will talk about spirit guides. They'll say to you, when you come into this world, you come into this world with one spirit guide. Well, that's not how it actually works. There are many, many different other aspects of that idea. But I do understand why guides say that, and spiritual people talk like that. I get it. I understand. There's only so much people can truly grasp and understand because it's so complex and diverse. The idea of one spirit attached to you all the way through your life, and they can only help you unless you allow them to help you, again, is limited in so many ways. Because if you actually truly see how spirit works and you watch them from day to day and you understand energy and see how spirits alongside people, there's not always one. There can be two and three, and sometimes there can be none. So it's not as cut and dry as what people would hope that you believe. I've come across, let's say, people in this spacesuit, let's call it a spacesuit, that have absolutely nothing around them. They have no energy in the same way as us. They don't have the spirit within inside, which is the same as us. And when I say us, what do you think I mean by us? Do you think I mean everybody? Because that in itself is a whole huge topic of discussion. I have read for thousands of people, and when I read for them, I feel them. I try and understand who they are, what spirit they are. And what I've certainly realized is there's a lot more to this idea of us being just from one world. There are many different various and varieties of spirit inside the spacesuit. So the fact that we sort of say, okay, you've got one spirit guide, it's it's not really that simple. At first, when I started doing this work, I started realizing that it's best to try and make things as simple as possible and just state it this way so it's digestible for people. But then as the older you get, the more you realize that it isn't that simple. Nothing is that simple. It's great to be able to use this kind of analogy of, you know, the spirit world is here and they're watching us and they're helping us, and that's really great. It's comforting. But what are spirit? Where are they from? Are they from this world, or are they from another world? Is there more than this spirit world of our family in spirit, or are they different spirits, and so on? So it goes into amazing detail when you really study and understand it, and it's not that simple. It's very diverse and complex. So I'm going to take you through some examples. I've met people who were, let's say, of the cloth. I've met maybe, I don't know, maybe 40 or 50, maybe more, of priests from all over the world. Some priests were going through this torment inside. And that torment is because they feel a need to to digest, not only physically but energetically, children, mainly boys. And many a time when I was doing the reading, I could feel this feeling that they had, this energy. And it was extremely dark and it was extremely disturbing. And to begin with, it was quite difficult. What do I do with this? How do I try and help this person? And the only thing that I could come up with is try and help them understand what pain and suffering is to a child and how it stays with them for the rest of their life, and it continues through their family and their family and their family. So it's a heavy burden to place on on a child, and it causes such huge waves for the future of that child's child. So to try and help a man who wears a cloth to understand not only the consequences, but the physical and the experience that child has to go through. I have no idea whether it made a difference or not, but I did notice that different priests had different energies, so they weren't the same in the spacesuit that they came to me. So they came with flesh and blood and their face and their hands, but inside was a different entity, a different energy. And I noticed that there are different levels of spirit, meaning different spirits that are not from the same place where you are from. So that is another very interesting topic as well, because what you and I would feel as suffering and pain, these people feel as warmth, goodness, a kind of like, I filled my belly now, I'm okay now. Part of these people, there was some with slight remorse, some with no remorse, some with great excitement and jubilation of causing the suffering and taking that from them. There's also another type of spirit that resides in this spacesuit that is on this planet, and that is of pure evil. And these are tormented spirits. So they would look and act like you and me, and they have mums and dads, but there is something within them that is constantly trying to break out of the spacesuit. I could give you lots of stories, but I will give you one story. Not so long ago, I was invited to go to an island. And while I was at this island, I was with my partner. And we were asked to go to somebody's home. And instead of booking into a hotel, we agreed. Now, I could have afforded to a hotel, no problem. So I don't know why I felt that we needed to go, but I said, let's just go. Let's just do it. And I wouldn't normally do it, but then I had a feeling I'd be ended up giving this person a healing session, which of course I did. But then this person left and told me that somebody else was coming to the house, and their partner was coming as well. So this person was coming with their partner. Anyway, to cut a long story short, we couldn't find anywhere to eat on this one night, and we kept thinking, why is everything closed? Anyway, we just gave up and we came back. So we came back fairly early, which was about 10, 11 o'clock at night, fairly early to us. And no sooner did we get back, there's a bang on the door. And this person, I'm not going to say who it is, I'm not, because it's too delicate, presented themselves with a damaged hand, and they'd done something which was an accident, and the accident happened, and they explained. I went round to the other part of their home, because we were staying in like another part of the house, a huge place, and this person looked. All I can tell you is it didn't feel good at all. I could feel this was not of a spirit that you and I are used to. This was different. And although this person is very famous and hides under the banner of spirituality and spiritual guru, this person presented themselves in their real colours. And how that happened was this person had done something to themselves, and they ended up in hospital that night prior, and had drugs pumped into them to ease the pain. But what they didn't realise is that those drugs, which were morphine, brings out a lot of truth, and there is no filter. So this person then starts to basically speak to me like you would a priest going to resolve your sins and just tell me your sins. So the sins started coming out. And this person started to tell me that over the years, there is something within that brews at a certain time of the year, throughout the whole year. So this person is able to manage the trueness of the spirit within that spacesuit. But it comes to a point every year as a circle, comes to a point where this man has to cause or inflict the most heinous and horrendous damage to another human being, meaning sacrifice. I was hearing this, and all I could feel was my body was burning. And I realized why the synchronicities brought me to this point. Because if I wasn't there at that moment, and spirit didn't lift my hand and put it to his chest and burn of light to heal or to quench the thirst of this evil, then I believe his partner would not have been there in the morning, or if so, would have been in a complete and utter mess. This human being in this spacesuit, but the spirit within. Funny how the music's just gone off, eh? Why is that? Why is that? I just put that music on and it lasts for hours. So I heard the spirit, the dark and very evil spirit, speak to me of a need to cause suffering to somebody else. And I knew that this would be the night. I think the spirit was asking to see if I was willing to do the same. As I lifted my hand for no reason and put it to his chest, I could feel the burn. A lot of practitioners will understand what that means. But I literally sweated for 3 or 4 minutes, and this person stood next to me, has frozen and couldn't move and never said a word until I took my hand away. I believe, looking back at this moment, that the lady who was upstairs, who had just arrived, I believed her family in the spirit world had arranged for this to happen, for me to be there at that moment to help save her life. One day I will write in great detail about this. But there are many people who hide behind cloths and names and pretend to be something that they are far from. And this is why I've always spent my years in sharing the truth about politicians, about leaders, about people who are famous, people who we believe are there to help us grow in many different ways and to give us great information to help us. And I've often said that those who preach the most need to learn the most what they're preaching. And there's a reason why, because of situations like this and because of priests and so on. And I look at people as individual, not at what they wear. I don't look at your brand because you have a World Health Organization badge on. That doesn't make you the World Health Organization. It makes you nothing. You are you by the way you are and your actions. So I don't buy into that. That's only a program that's being given to us to be fearful of government officials, to be fearful of the army, to be fearful of whatever, police or whatever. No, I'm not fearful of any of those things. They serve no purpose in my thought and feeling. I see somebody as an individual, and that's all that matters. That's how I measure people. So where I'm going with this is that you may look at another human being and judge them by their actions, but what I was doing was feeling the spirit within. I was learning to understand what kind of spirit is inside. Now, there's a lot of confusion, and I'm going to really upset a lot of people here by what I'm saying, but you know what? It needs to be said. It really needs to be said now, because we're coming to a point where if we don't understand what's going on, then we're going to fall down a cesspit. So I guess take, for instance, the biggest trick that was ever played, because we try and see things in a simple way that, how do I put it? You know, when people talk about soulmates, oh, it's my soulmate, we've been together before. It's part of the truth, but it's not the whole truth, just like spirit guides. What I mean by that is that I realize that there are different worlds within worlds within worlds. There are alien worlds, there are spiritual worlds, there are different entities all over. And we, as a cosmos, as spirits, come into the physical body as a shell, and we then bring life, and we have our experience, whether it's an ant, a fly, an animal, or a human. There are times that we can bump into somebody and we can feel them. So it's not by what they're saying, it's just you feel different from everybody else. Oh, it must be my soulmate. Well, let me give you a different take on that. What if I was to say to you that you will meet many people that you will have a connection with, but maybe it's not a soul mate, but maybe another person from a world that you're from. So now it might make a little bit of sense when you're with somebody and say, oh, I was with my soulmate and we couldn't stand each other. We couldn't get on with each other. Well, maybe because you weren't soulmates. Maybe it was you thought because everybody told you about soulmates, but maybe you're just from the same world. So you have a connection because, oh, you're from my hometown. Yeah, I am. Doesn't make you and me best pals. Oh, you were born in the same place. Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember that. I don't know why, but I can remember it. Oh, well, you're my soulmate. No, you're not, mate. We just know each other. We're from the same planet. We're from the same solar system. We're from somewhere where we've connected before. So, yeah, I'm going to upset people here. Gosh. So, I mean, I could go off on a tangent, I really could. But what I'm trying to say today, I'm trying to dispel a myth that, why is it, Mark, that my family can't see what I can see? Well, maybe, my dear friend, they are your family in the spacesuit, but maybe where you're all from is completely different places. And God forbid, I'm going to upset more people now. What if there's no such thing as a young soul? That person's a young soul. What do you mean, young soul? Well, they've only been here a few times. Maybe that's not what it is. Maybe that they've come from somewhere else and they are a different spirit that resides within the spacesuit. Maybe they're not a young soul. Maybe they're just different. Oh, well, does that make me better? No, it doesn't make you better. It just makes you different. So your spiritual senses are different from theirs. Why they came here is different from you. The experience. So some people come for the experience, some people come to raise the vibration, some people come to lower the vibration, some people come to feed from people's energy, some people come from this. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? I think what I'm trying to say is that I think you're probably ready now to expand your consciousness, or you're ready to listen to you deep inside that you already know these things. We're just putting the pieces together. So maybe you are a lighthouse, and maybe some of these people who come in this suit are here to be the destroyer. Maybe some people are here to be the Titanic and to cause devastation for everybody who sits in the Titanic, and I'm here as a lighthouse and hopefully shine the light so that people can see, or maybe not. Who knows? Who really knows anything? But maybe this is a food for thought video that might make you understand that the reason why we are where we are right now is because we believe that that's my brother, that's my sister. Basically, everybody is like me. And because of that, we dare not move forward. Maybe they're not like you. And maybe we point them out and say, they are not the spirit that I am. The spacesuit might look the same, but you are not the same as me inside. You come from another place. And the more we recognize that, the more we can stand away from these and say that this can happen, and there are horrific people in this world who dress in uniforms, who dress up in fancy suits and claim to be the protectors of this world, who actually, as a matter of fact, are the very opposite. It's something to think about. But I think there's only maybe 3 or 4 or 5% of this world who can actually truly see, because they are of different energy and they are of a different spirit which resides in a body. It's something to think about. Have a great day, guys. Take care.